We hear from a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs that they struggle a little bit with marketing. And that actually makes a lot of sense because you start your professional services business because you have a passion for something, but marketing is usually not it.
Exactly. So for example, you're an amazing photographer, a great lawyer, great business coach or consultant, but marketing isn't something that you have a whole lot of experience with. And that's okay, because in this video, we're going to share 7 small business marketing ideas that don't cost you a whole lot of money so you can get way more leads and clients and make it rain. I'm Christy.
And I'm Mike. And welcome back to our channel where we love sharing tactical tips and best practices that will help you level up your small business.
So if you're interested in taking your small business to the next level, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you get more videos like this. And share in the comments below. What have you experimented with for marketing for your small business? What's worked? What hasn't worked?
Yeah, so let's get into our top 7 list of small business marketing ideas.
Idea number 1 is drive referrals and repeat business.
Christy, that seems a little bit obvious.
Yeah, I know it's obvious, but it's under leveraged. People don't do enough to actively drive referrals and repeat business. They sit around and wait for them to happen.
I see. So you're talking about being proactive, going out there and actually asking your customers for referrals.
Precisely. So you want to do this by making sure after every client project that you finish or case that you finish with a client, you follow up with them and you ask them, is there anyone else that they know that could use your services? You also want to be touching base every 3 to 6 months, depending on your relationship with your clients, to just check in and follow up. Is there anyone that they know that they could refer? Anything else that they need if they need your services to drive that repeat business and referrals?
Wow, that sounds like a lot of work. How do you suggest that people stay on top of this?
A lot of people do this with spreadsheets, which can get a little bit chaotic, but it is possible. I recommend using a CRM for this.
You mean like Daylite?
Exactly. Oh, and make sure if someone does refer you a client or a lead, make sure you follow up and thank them. Send them a thank you note, a gift basket, bottle of wine that they like. You want to do stuff that encourages people to continue sending you referrals and just shows your appreciation.
Right, so idea number 1 is about driving your referrals to get repeat business. Gotcha.
Marketing idea number 2 is promote the heck out of your free consultation.
If you do free consultations, then you know that that's a really great way to get leads and to be able to talk to people where you're going to have a high probability of closing them and turning them into an actual client. So getting as many consultations going as possible is super important to drive business for your company. How do you suggest people increase the number of consultations that they got on the go?
So on your website, for example, you want to make it really clear what are the problems that you solve, what are the benefits that people are going to get from hiring you, and then make it really obvious, usually with a giant button, book a free call. That just helps increase and tells them what to do. That's your call to action. And you want to make sure you have one call to action on the page. Don't litter it with a whole bunch of different buttons or different things they should do. Funnel them all in to book a free call with you.
One of the techniques that you use a lot here is to get really good at using customer language to resonate with them and get them to interact with us more. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so a big problem that I see people doing is businesses talk all about them, what they can do, what's great about them. You want to be kind of twisting that around and talking to your ideal client in their language. Talk about the problems that they're probably experiencing, the challenge that they have, and what you can do for them. You want to have more you on your website than you do we or me or I.
And social media, that's a thing these days. So how do people leverage social media to drive more bookings?
So same thing as on your website with your main call to action you use in social media. On your profile, in your about, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, you want to talk about the problems you solve for that industry, person, client, whatever, and have that clear call to action. Book a free call today.
And pro tip? What about scarcity?
Scarcity is a great influencing technique that you can use to help increase that conversion rate just a little bit more. So for example, in an Instagram story, you could say, hey, if you're interested in blah, 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 talk about the problems you solve. You've got 3 spots next week available, so if you're interested in booking a call, book them now before they go. That just helps increase your conversion rate a little bit more to drive those leads that you can then convert into paying clients.
This all sounds very, very familiar. I feel like I've read a blog post you've written.
Yes, I did write a blog post about it. I'll make sure to include a link in the show notes to that blog post where there's also examples and screenshots of what I'm talking about.
So if you depend on free consultations to drive business for your company, then do everything you can to optimize the traffic and eyeballs that are coming to you to get as many of them going as you possibly can.
Small business marketing idea number 3 is host a meetup.
Meetups are great, but it sounds like a lot of work to actually host one.
It doesn't have to be. If you're doing it at your office or renting out a local library, it doesn't cost a lot of overhead. Depending on how big you want to try your first one, you may just need to rent a mic and some audio equipment.
Okay, so if people are cool with actually hosting a meetup, what should they talk about?
You want to talk about stuff that establishes yourself as a thought leader and expert in your area of expertise. So for example, I know lawyers that have had success with this, hosting meetups, where they talk about family law, estate planning, planning out your will. If you're in financial services, maybe talk about tips for retirement, stuff that your ideal target market is probably thinking about or maybe not thinking about yet that they may want to hire you afterwards. And you don't even have to host your own meetup. You can also attend other meetups.
That's a really good point. There's tons of meetups all over the world already established, and they're always looking for guest speakers. You can use tools like meetup.com, LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups to find them, and I would just reach out to the organizer and see if they have a slot coming up. A lot of meetups depend on guest speakers to survive, actually, so they're always looking for people to come and talk. So that'd be another great way for you to come, talk about a specific topic, set yourself up as an expert in that area, and get some exposure.
Just make sure you're getting people's email addresses. Whether you're hosting the event or attending the networking event, you want to get people's email addresses so you can follow up with them, turn them into an actual warm lead, which leads into our next marketing idea. Small business marketing idea number 4, email marketing. Email marketing is a great and cost-effective way that you can stay top of mind with clients, leads, past clients, or people that have signed up for your mailing list through your blog, through social media, or people that you've met at networking events. The idea is just stay top of mind so that when they eventually need your services, you're the one that they think of and that they contact.
What's a way that people could leverage email marketing to stay top of mind? I mean, maybe they don't have a lot of new stuff to talk about, or they're wrestling with ideas on what to email. What is your suggestion there?
Yeah, so I mean, you don't have to have new things or new services or new products to talk about. Really, you just want to stay top of mind. So for example, you could email a tip relevant to your industry. If you're in real estate, maybe a tip for buying or selling a home, tips for planning a will or saving for retirement, whatever your service is. You can include a case study, so talk about results that you've achieved for other clients, so long as you have their permission. Really just stuff that's going on in your business and stuff that's relevant that you're adding value to that person who's reading that email.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. But a lot of people don't have in-house graphic designers or that ability. How can they make these emails look professional?
So you don't need a graphic designer to make your email newsletter look professional. You can use a service like MailChimp that's very cost-effective and gives you really nice quality, professional-looking emails.
Okay, so people have built a list, they've put together an email. What are some tips you can share to help make sure that their audience actually reads the email?
Great question. A really common problem that people make is they put following up or touching base in the email subject line. You want to add something that adds value so that people have a better chance of opening it. So for example, if you're sharing a tip about buying or selling a home, you want to put that in the email subject line. Just please do not use follow up or touching base in the email subject. It's something that tons of people do. It's totally common. Don't feel bad about it. Just stop doing it and start putting something in better that has a better chance of getting opened. Small business marketing idea number 5 is invest in content marketing.
Content marketing is a great way to establish yourself as a thought leader and to build awareness for your business. Let's talk through a few examples of what this could look like.
Right, so with content marketing, you want to be writing stuff that your ideal market or ideal client is searching for. So if you're writing blog content, think about who's your ideal target market, what are they looking for? So let's say you're a real estate agent in Toronto, someone may be looking for tips to sell their home in Toronto. So you could write a blog post, 5 tips to sell a 1-bedroom home in Toronto, or 5 tips to stage a 1-bedroom apartment in Toronto. That way, if you're using that keyword throughout the blog post, you're more likely to rank high in Google. That person will find that when they're searching for it, read about it, get value, and then hopefully keep you in mind if they are needing a real estate agent in the future.
This does sound like a little bit of work up front, but it will pay off in the long run, because once you write this content and put it on your website, Google will index it and will be bringing you leads constantly.
Yes, but there are a lot of things that you need to keep in mind in order to rank high in Google. We're not going to get into that right now in this video, but we'll include a link in the show notes below to Neil Patel. He's a great resource for how to improve search engine optimization. Small business marketing idea number 6 is collaborate with other small businesses.
And what we mean by this is find other businesses in your area that have the same target market as you, but are complementary to the services that you offer. That way you can work together to broaden both of your markets.
Right, so let's take the example of, say, you're a wedding photographer. Your target market are brides. So what you could do is approach a bridal shop in the area and ask if they're interested in collaborating on a piece of content. You could offer to do all the work, so it's super easy for them. You're just getting their tips and you're quoting them. That way, when you put together a blog post of, say, top tips for choosing a wedding dress, you're quoting them. That way, when you publish it, they'll be more likely to share it with their audience on social media, in their email list, whatever that is. So that way, you're kind of cross-pollinating. You're attracting their audience and they're attracting your audience, so it's a win-win.
And this is a great way to actually broaden your network and get referrals, going back to idea number one. If you're working with this bridal shop and they have clients that need photographers, likely they'll recommend you. And vice versa, if you have clients that are talking about looking for wedding dresses, you can refer them to the bridal shop. And that is a great way to sort of broaden the appeal of your company and get more clients coming in.
Small business marketing idea number 7 is invest in social media marketing.
A lot of businesses are on social media and leveraging the platform to reach their audience, which is really great, but they could do a better job, and they could do that by adding value as opposed to just talking about them and their services.
Right, if you're just posting and promoting your business on social media, you're kind of missing out. You want to focus on adding value. What are things that your target market or target audience really cares about? That way, if you're sharing tips and suggestions for stuff they care about, they're going to keep coming back. They're going to like, comment, share, and engage, and that just helps to kind of broaden your awareness or broaden your reach on social media.
And social media platforms now have a lot of options for advertising.
Right, which can sound kind of scary, but it's actually quite easy. Social media, so for Facebook and Instagram, they make it quite easy to create ads or boost posts. So you could take a video of yourself sharing a tip that your target audience cares about, or talking about a problem that you can solve. And the great thing about Facebook and Instagram is you can get really targeted in who this ad shows up to, so you have a better chance of converting them into a lead. Now, there are a lot of tips that you want to consider when doing social media advertising. So again, Neil Patel is a great resource for that. We talked about him earlier. We'll include a link in the show notes so you can get a lot more tips from him on maximizing your social media advertising campaigns.
That's the video for you today, guys. If you found these small business marketing ideas helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a future video. And if you have ideas on small business marketing or have any questions for us, please leave them in the comments down below.
And be sure to check out the show notes where we'll include links to resources that we've talked about throughout this video. And be sure to follow us on all the social channels.